Close your eyes. Listen to the fire. Let its warmth hold you, its light flicker in the darkness of your mind. Tonight, the journey leads you into the heart of fear, not to banish it, not to escape it, but to see it, to know it, to transform it into strength. Sit by the fire, listen to the drums, and let the story awaken something deep within you. The traveler sat before the fire, shoulders heavy, the weight of unseen burdens pressing down upon him. He had walked the path of wisdom, yet wisdom alone had not freed him. Something lingered beneath the surface, something unspoken, unacknowledged. Across the fire, the shaman watched. His robes were woven with the colors of dusk and ember, his eyes reflecting the flames like pools of molten gold. "You have walked far, seeker," the shaman said. "But tell me, what is it that follows you?" The traveler exhaled. "Fear." The shaman stirred the embers with his staff. "And why do you fear?" The traveler hesitated. "Because I see the world. I see the cruelty of men, the pain they inflict upon others. I see injustice, suffering, and destruction. I see what the darkness does, and I do not know how to love it. How can I embrace that which harms?" The shaman nodded. "You see the wounds, but not the wounded. You see the fruit, but not the root. Tell me, traveler, does a tree bear rotten fruit because it is evil, or because the soil is poisoned?" The traveler was silent. The shaman picked up a handful of earth, letting it fall through his fingers. A violent hand is shaped by violent hands before it. An abuser is a child who was never given love. A tyrant is one who was denied power. The corrupted one was first betrayed, and the one who hungers for control was once left powerless. You curse the shadow, yet you do not see the wounded child within it. The traveler clenched his fists, but the harm is done. The pain has been inflicted. The innocent have suffered. What justice is there in love? The fire flared, casting long shadows into the night. The shaman drew a symbol in the dirt, a perfect balance of two forces equal yet opposite. Justice is not punishment. Justice is adjustment, to bring what has fallen into balance once more. The wind shifted, whispering through the trees, and from the shadows, three figures emerged. To the traveler's left stood a warrior, his armor blackened, his hands stained with old blood. "I am the destroyer," he said. "I am the fire that has burned without direction, the storm that has torn without purpose. You fear me because I have taken life." To the right stood a ruler, his robe woven in gold, his crown heavy with the weight of power. "I am the oppressor," he said. "I am the one who has seized control, who has bent the will of others to my own. You fear me because I have stolen freedom." At the center stood a child, his eyes wide with pain, his small hands trembling. "I am the wounded one," he whispered. "I am the root of them both. I was beaten, and so I learned to strike. I was powerless, and so I learned to dominate. I was abandoned, and so I learned to take." The traveler's breath caught. The warrior and the ruler turned to the child, bowing their heads, and the traveler understood. All that I have feared was born from suffering. The shaman nodded. To punish the wounded only deepens the wound. To exile the lost only makes them more lost. You do not heal a man by striking him. You heal him by showing him another way. The traveler turned back to the figures. Then what is justice? The shaman's voice was steady. To adjust, to correct what was broken, to take the fire of the destroyer and give it purpose, to make him a protector, to take the hunger of the ruler and give him wisdom, to make him a guide, to take the suffering of the child and give him love, to make him whole. The traveler's fists loosened. The fire did not burn, it did not consume. It only waited to be held. And so the traveler stepped forward. He knelt before the child, placing a hand upon his trembling shoulder. "You do not need to hurt anymore," he whispered. "You do not need to take. You are seen. You are enough." A breath, a pause, a shift. The child closed his eyes, exhaling, and as he did, the warrior and the ruler transformed. The warrior's blade became a staff, a protector's weapon. The ruler's golden robe became a cloak of wisdom, a guide's mantle, and the child, once trembling, stood tall. The shadows did not disappear. They were transformed. The traveler turned back to the shaman, breathless. "Fear was never my enemy," he said. "It was my teacher." The shaman smiled. "And now you are free." Above them, the stars gleamed, scattered across the sky like the eyes of ancestors watching. The drums began again, slow and steady, the rhythm of the universe itself. The traveler closed his eyes, feeling the beat in his chest. He had feared the darkness. He had tried to banish it, to fight it, to destroy it. But now he understood. Fear was not meant to be erased. It was meant to be mastered.